The American Revolution was the primary turning point in the making of our nation. Years before this revolution began, Europeans came to the New World in search of religious and economic freedom. Religions such as the Quakers, the Puritans, the Huguenots, the Anglicans all came from Europe to the New World to look for religious freedom. And as for economic freedom, the Dutch and English indentured servants fled to the New World in search of a new life for themselves where they can prosper. And Enlightenment philosophy played a huge role in the pre-revolution era as well. John Locke had this idea of natural rights, which was quite popular at the time: life, liberty, and property, rights that people were naturally born with and could not have stripped from them. Primary figures and tactics of the revolution included the founding fathers, people like George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and Thomas Paine. There were also British forces such as King George III, who was the King of England at the time of the American Revolution, and who placed taxes on the colonies in order to ensure a tight grasp on the people. There was also Lord Cornwallis, who was the British general who later would surrender to George Washington at the end of the Revolution. Primary tactics of the Revolution include guerrilla warfare, which was a hit-and-run tactic, an ambush tactic. It was used in this war mostly for the first time. And there was also psychological warfare and propaganda. Signs such as this "Join or Die" poster by Benjamin Franklin rallied the people together for the cause of a revolution. And as for religion in the Revolutionary War, various leading religions included Christianity, which were Puritans, Quakers, Catholics, evangelicals, and then there was also deism and Judaism. Religious movements like the Great Awakening, led by George Whitefield and Jonathan Edwards, played a huge role in the pre-revolution era. And the rise of deism came with the Enlightenment philosophy, and the evangelical movement also came and played a key role in the making of America. National advancements included industry, economic, and military. Industry such as iron played a key role and was used in many weapons and artillery. The evolution of iron was a very, very important part of our nation's making. And as for the economy, post-war U.S. struggled. We relied on commerce and trade with allies of ours during the war, and we relied on agriculture to build our nation. And as for the military, the National Security Act of 1789 established the U.S. Army. We realized that we needed to have a set army to protect our newborn nation. This came in handy in the War of 1812. The Revolutionary War also began many movements. Women's rights movements, which Abigail Adams played a huge part in, set the tone for a new role of women in the United States. And there was also slave rights. Because there was an increased awareness of injustice, slave rights became a hot topic in the United States. There was also freedom of religion. Separation of church and state was very important, and this is what also built the First Amendment. The impact of historical documents was substantial. The Declaration of Independence was written by Thomas Jefferson. It focused on individual rights and popular sovereignty, and it set the tone for secession from England. The U.S. Constitution was an outline for our new nation. It focused on democracy, federalism, separation of powers, and individual rights. There was also the Bill of Rights, which were the first 10 amendments to the U.S. Constitution, mostly proposed by James Madison. It focused on freedom, and it challenged any injustice that might come to our nation. And then there was also the making of our nation's identity as a whole. The revolution played this huge role in this. War took a toll on our economy. It disrupted trade. Debt was on the rise, specifically to our foreign allies like France. And because of the Loyalists fleeing New England and the colonies, we had a loss for population. There was also the social identity that was changed. The role of women, the view of slavery, and equality and social hierarchy all changed. People began to see each other as equals instead of separating each other into classes. And politically, there was a rise on political participation. The citizens of the United States were constantly keeping up to date with politics because the birth of the new nation just completely changed the game. Here are all my resources that I used. Our nation was built on freedom and so many different principles, and we can still see the impact that our revolution has had on America. Thank you so much.